In our last video, we learned about parabolas and we saw a couple of equations. So we saw a new version of how to define a parabola in standard form, and it involved this p. Now, just a quick refresher. So this bottom one is following the same pattern we already saw. This is y equals x squared, just like a quadratic equation. So this one opened up, and it turned out if the 4p was a negative number, it flipped it upside down. It was going down. Then we learned about this one. Its real basis is actually in the idea of it being a square root is what's really happening here. But this one is going to go right and left. So if this is positive, we open to the right. If 4p turns to be a negative, we're going to open to the left. Now, I'm going to skip this here for so all that confusion. It's really the same thing. All we're going to do in this video is we're going to take that parabola and we're going to move it to a vertex, just like we have in each of the last two sections. Now, don't let the order fool you. The h is always going to be the part of the vertex that goes with the x. The k is going to be the part of the vertex that goes with the y. So even though this is out of order here, we have a vertex at negative 3, 1. Now remember, just like it's always been, these formulas are built with a negative. So this value of h here is not 3, it's negative 3. The value of k here is 1. Okay, other than that, we're just going to move this around. The only thing they've added here is an axis of symmetry because we're not on the x-axis. Normally when we graph these, we were right here on the x-axis. Well, we've moved up. So we've got a center here, back 3, 1, 2, 3, up 1. So we're starting here with a vertex that's right there. Now the axis of symmetry is just saying, okay, well, where are we building this? And well, first of all, we're going to need whether we're going up or down. So if you remember here, this is based on the y squared. So this is our right and left version. So this one is going this way or this way. So yeah, I had to make sure I'm thinking of this right. So it depends on then the value of p here. So we have negative 4p equals negative 16. So p is then going to be negative 4. So this is negative, so we're going to go to the left. So we're opening to the left. So we're starting here and we're going horizontally. So it's all going to be built along this line here. So again, I found my center. My vertex here is at negative 3, 1. My axis of symmetry is the line that we're building on. And since we're going horizontally, it's going to be this line going right and left horizontally here. So a horizontal line is a y line. So we have an axis of symmetry at y is 1. Okay, now the focus, we know how to do this. We're going to take the value of p, which we've already found, and we're going to go down that axis of symmetry. So we're going to start here at our vertex, and we're going to add, We're going to add negative 4. Now we're going horizontally, so we're adding it to the x. So negative 4 to the x would get me negative 7, 1. So there's my focus. It's going to be down here. Now our directrix is going to go in the opposite direction. So we're starting here at negative 3, 1, but instead of taking for it being negative 4, we're going to go the other direction. So we're going to add 4. So my directrix is going to go back 4. So if I go, I keep getting lost here. Okay, so if I add 4 to this, so the focus went to the left, the directrix is going to go to the right, and it will be at an x value of 1, but it is going to be a vertical line. So it's x equals 1. Okay, so the only thing that's changing, we're following exactly the same process. The only thing that's changing here is that we've moved the center, we've moved the vertex. So one last point here, let's do the endpoints. So the endpoints are going to be built off the focus here. So we're at negative 7, 1. And so the focus is going to be, we're going to take the x value from the focus because we're going to go right here, and then we're going to go up and down in order to make our parabola. So we're going to add 2p to our y value. So let me take you through this again. I'm going to the center, the focus, and from the focus we can find the endpoints. So if we're at negative 7, 1, our two endpoints are going to be up and down because we're going this way. So if they're going up and down, my x coordinate is going to be negative 7. Now, it's plus or minus 2p is what we're going to add to the y. So plus or minus 2 times negative 4. So we're going to have plus or minus negative 8. So we're going to add negative 8 to 1, and we'd get negative 7. We're going to add positive, so negative 8 and positive 8 are what we're going to wind up doing. So I'm going to add 8 to the 1, and I get 9. Those are 7s. Okay, so I have all my pieces. So my directrix is going to be this line here. I've got my vertex, which was easy to find. My focus brought me over here. So from that focus, I then went up and down 2p. That's how we find those endpoints. The directrix is that line. It's going to be parallel to the focus here, going vertically. Okay, if you think you have this, go ahead and try it. I'm going to take you through here. First thing we need is the vertex. So it doesn't matter the order. The h is always with x. So this is 8 and negative 1. K is over here with the y. Now they're built with negatives. So 8, negative 1. So I have the value of my vertex. Now we need to establish what direction we're going. So we've got a y squared again. So we are going right and left, and the value of p is positive, so we're going to be going this way. We're going to be opening to the right. So while we're here, we've got 4p equals 4. The value of p is just going to be 1. Now let's do our axis of symmetry. So we're going horizontally again here. And, oh well, so let's actually, I didn't do that, did I? Okay, so we're actually down here opening to the right. So my axis of symmetry is going to be the line that runs right through the middle of this parabola. So it's going to be this line right here. It used to be the x-axis, but it's not anymore. It's going to be the line y equals negative 1, running right through the vertex and right through there, going horizontally. Okay, now our focus, we're going to take that vertex and we're going to add p to it, but we're moving. This is all happening horizontally, so we're going to adjust the x. The x is the horizontal. So that's going to make the focus at 9, negative 1. Now the directrix is going to go in the opposite direction. So from the vertex, we're going to go back the other direction. So again, it's happening on the x, so it's going to be 7. And so we go back to 7, but this is going to be a vertical line. So it's going to be x equals 7. Okay, lastly, we need our endpoints. Okay, so we're going to start at our focus. So our focus is over here. Now our endpoints are going to go up and down from there. So we already have the right location. The x values are going to be 9. We're going up and down from there, so we're adding 2p plus or minus 2p, or where I get those 2 points for the endpoint. So I've got plus or minus 2 times 1, or just plus or minus 2. Okay, so we're going up and down, so that's y. So we're adding 2 to negative 1 gets me 1. Subtracting 2 from negative 1 gets me negative 3. Okay, so I have my endpoints, 9, 1, 9, negative 3. I've got everything actually, so let's let them graph it for us here. So we move down to our center. Here was the axis of symmetry, just running right through the middle of the vertex. Here's my focus, here's my directrix, and there's my endpoints. Okay, we're going to try this again. We got a couple more of these, but this time we're in general form, and we need to put it into the standard form. It's going to follow the same patterns we've seen before. First of all, I'm going to notice here that the x square is happening. So we're going to be of the form. We're going to be of the form like this. because we have x squared. But now we're also going to shift it around. The vertex is not going to be at the origin. So let me see if I can use what they've done. Let me talk you through it. We're going to organize the x's just like we've done in the past. All the x's on one side. This time though, we're going to get the y's are supposed to be on the other side. So we're going to have the y's and all the other numbers go to the other side. Now, we're going to complete the square. There's only going to be one squared term in here. So there's only going to be one side that needs to have the square completed. So let's do that. We cut the negative 8.5, it's negative 4. Square it, we get 16. So I get this. But if you add 16 to one side, you have to add it to the other. Now, we completed the square so that we could do this. Just tidied up on the right. Okay, now all they've done here is taken out a GCF. And why have they done that? Because we want this to be at the vertex, but we also want this to be 4p, so we can figure out the value of p. So let's just stop here on this line. And we've now got it in the form. Do they want us to graph it? Yeah, they do. So let's go ahead and find the vertex. So again, let me talk you through. I guess I'm afraid I'm going too quick. The y's on one side, x is on the other. We're going to complete the square here for the 1. Just like we normally would. If you add something on one side, you got to add it to the other. The only thing that's different here on the right, we're going to pull out a GCF. So we take out a 28. Okay, now we're ready to go. So we've got the equation. We know now it's HK. Now the order is different. We haven't done, this is going to go vertically because it's y equals x squared. This is our normal pattern. This is going to go up and down. And because it's positive for p, because of the 28, this is going to open up. So our vertex here is going to be the h goes with x, so it's 4, negative 8. Okay, now once we've got it this far, it's going to be all the same. Let me take you through it. So the axis of symmetry, we're going vertically. So my axis of symmetry, let me just get a rough idea. So somewhere down here. So we're going up and down. So and it opens upward. So our axis of symmetry is going to run through the focus and follow the parabola here. So we're going to have an axis of symmetry that's going down here. That's now going to be an x line. X is 4. We haven't seen that before. It's going to run through the focus, run right down the middle of the parabola. So this time our axis of symmetry is an x line. Okay, so we have everything. Let's get our focus here. Our focus is going to take the vertex, and now we're going to go, oh, I haven't found p yet, sorry. 28 equals 4p. So p is going to be 7. Divide that 4 across. P is going to be 7. So we're going to take the value of p, we're going to start at our vertex, and we're going to add it. We're going up and down, so we're going to add it to the y. So 4, negative 1. Okay, so I have my focus. What else do I need? Our directrix. Our directrix is going to go in the opposite direction. So I'm going to start at the focus, or the vertex, sorry, we're going to start at the vertex, and we're going to go in the opposite direction. But this is all happening on the y, so I'm going to subtract 7 here to go in the opposite direction. Oops. So I'm going to be at 4, negative 15, but it's going to be a line down here at negative 15 that's going to run parallel to the parabola. So we have a line down here. So this is going to be a horizontal line, which are y lines. So y is going to be negative 15. Okay, finally our endpoints. So we're going to be starting at that vertex, and we're adjusting. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting confused. So we're going to be here. Right here is our focus, and we're going to be adjusting the x's because we're going to be taking the points to the right and the left. So our y value is going to stay the same for these two endpoints. This time we're going right and left to create the 2 points on the parabola. We haven't done that before. So we're at the vertex, we're going right and left with our p, or no, 2p, sorry, so plus or minus 2p. So plus or minus 2 times 7 plus or minus 14. So we're going to start at 14, or 4 here, and add 14. So we're going to have 1 at 18. We're going to start at 4 and subtract 14, and We're going to have one then at -10. So we haven't done one in this direction. We're going vertically this time with an adjusted vertex. So we're switching everything when we're building our endpoints, our focus. Okay, and here's our picture of this if we need to see it. All right, let's do one more together. If you think you got it, go for it. Okay, now this is not in general form. They've already done it for us, so this is basically just practice again. This is going to be going vertically. So do you see I've got an x squared, which is the normal pattern we've always seen. So it's either up or down. Because p is going to be negative, it's going to be going down. Now let's adjust for our vertex. Now the h is with the x, so that's -2, 3. Remember, it's built with a negative. So our axis of symmetry here, so let me just mark this. Let's just get a rough draft of what this is going to look like. Where should I do that? Okay, we're doing it right here. Our vertex is at -2, 3. All right, so we're right there. I forgot what I was doing. Well, let's talk about, so we're opening down. So we're going to be going like this. All right, so our axis is symmetry. So it's going to be the line going through here vertically. We're going vertically, so it's going to be a vertical line. Vertical lines are x lines. So this is going to be at x equals right through that focus, or right through the focus and the vertex, so x equals -2. Okay, so let's find our focus. Now we're going to need p. So for p equals that -20, p is going to be -5. So we're going vertically. So to find the focus from the center, from our vertex, we're going to just add p to the y because we're going vertically. So -2, if we add -5 to the 3, we also get -2. So I'm just adding p to the vertex. And I'm adding it to the y because we're going vertically. Okay, now we need our directrix. Our directrix is going to go in the opposite direction. So if we're right here at our vertex, we're adding it to the y. We're going to take our p in the other direction. So it's going to be 3 plus 5 now. So we're going to have a value of 8, and it's happening at y. It's going to directrix run parallel to the curve, to the endpoints. So we're running this way. That is a horizontal line. Those are y lines. We're going to have a y line at 8. Okay, lastly, we need our endpoints, and then we'll be ready to graph it. Okay, so take a look at your picture here. So our focus is down here. Our focus is down here. So we're going to go right and left. We're going to be adding to the x's here in order to find our endpoints. And what we do is plus or minus 2p. So plus or minus 2 times -5. We're going to get plus or minus, well, it's going to wind up being plus or minus 10. Okay? So we're adding and subtracting 10 to our x values from the focus. Remember, the endpoints build from the focus. So plus or minus 10, we're adding them to the x, so our y's are going to stay the same. So -2 plus 10 is going to be 8. -2 minus 10 is going to be -12. Okay, I've got all the information I need to graph it. So here we go. Opening downward, there's my vertex, there's my focus, I've got my axis of symmetry, my directrix, everything's marked there. I've got my 2 endpoints marked so that I can connect it, and I got it. Okay, so pretty much the same idea that we had in our last lesson. Just be careful that once you found the focus, you just have to know, how am I adjusting to find the endpoints? Am I going vertically? Am I going horizontally?